I've got my backdrop here, but I promise there's not knickknacks, junk behind it because Bobby Berk would be reading me to filth if there was. He's the host of Junk or Jackpot on HGTV. Tell us what this show's all about.
Hey, good morning. So, this show is all about helping people get their joy back. We find collectors whose collections have gotten a little bit out of control. And they've not only gotten out of control in their home, but they've started to affect their relationships with spouses or friends or even just with themselves. So, I go in, we figure out what everything is worth. We bring in an evaluator, we find things that are jackpot that they didn't even know they had or had no idea of the value, and we sit down and we make a plan of this is what we need to get rid of. This is the amount of money we need to make in order to do this renovation. And I get their homes in order. I redesign their house and I help them bring back the joy that they once had for these collections instead of the anxiety that they've become.
What better place to do that than a show on HGTV? Talk to us about that moment when you found out that you were hosting a show on this incredible network.
Yeah, so this show was created by John Cena, the wrestler. He was like, I want to create an HGTV show, which is so random, and I love it because he really is the hardest working man in Hollywood. He was a big Queer Eye fan, so when he came up with this idea, he's like, I would love for Bobby from Queer Eye to host this. And when John Cena asks you to host something, you say, "Yes, Daddy, I will host that." And it was a lot of fun because I've been doing things with HGTV off and on for years, all the way back to 2013. And so to now have HGTV be my new home is just wonderful. And especially with a show that isn't just about design, but it really is about helping people change their lives.
That concept, I mean, like you said, John Cena, the wrestler, the actor, not a different John Cena. What is that
Right.
partnership like with him working on this show?
He really is just the loveliest man. It's funny because he comes across as like this big strong man in wrestling, but he's just like this big muscly teddy bear, the sweetest, kindest, most professional, amazing. I could gush about John all day long, but it really he's just added a whole level of just wonderfulness for the show that is really great. It's always amazing when you enjoy the people you work with, and that really is the case with this with John and everybody at HGTV.
You had 8 incredible seasons of Queer Eye on Netflix. Grab the tissues for almost every episode. What did you take from working on that show to now hosting your own show?
You know what? I think the thing that I learned, which I kind of already knew, but it was always just reinforced to me every single episode, that really changing your surroundings can help change your life. In my book, Right at Home, How Good Design is Good for the Mind, I talk about the correlation of mental health and design. Chaos around you creates chaos in your mind. The wrong colors in your house when you have anxiety can make your anxiety worse. The disorganized medicine cabinet in your bathroom can create road rage. That's in my book. You'd have to look at it. That's a whole other story. But it's just reinforced to me that just simply, even if you don't have a huge budget, just reorganizing, just purging things, just getting your life in order in your home can really have effect in your life with your relationships with your family, your spouses, your work relationships, your work performance. So it really does start at home, as they say.
What is that process like for you to tell people, hey, this might be special to you, this might not be special to you, to kind of correlate the difference between that junk or jackpot?
Well, a lot of fans have commented. They're like, "Oh, are you really going to make them get rid of these things that they love so much?" And the answer is yes. But it was a very collaborative process. I never said there was never a moment where I'm like, "This you have to get rid of, that you have to get rid of." I left those decisions up to them. And one of the whole reasons why, and a lot of times people are like, "Well, why didn't you just come in and pay for everything and do that?" Well, I'm like, I wanted to give them a lesson and an exercise in doing this themselves, because the problem was they didn't have self-control before on this collection and they allowed it to rule their lives. So I wanted them to see that, okay, wait, I can let go of some pieces, the pieces that aren't quite as important to me. And not only does it make my living space better, but it actually gives me the budget to do something else. It gives me a budget to maybe buy more collection if I want, because I never go in and say, you should stop collecting. This is something you love. But what I wanted them to realize was, okay, if I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy more things, I need to reevaluate the things I have. I need to let go of some things. And I need to be rotating out. And I need to allow other collectors who love these things to enjoy them as well, and not create a space where I can no longer enjoy these individual items that I love.
It's a 6 episode first season. Audiences watching it will already have the itch for many more episodes. Are you hoping for more seasons to come of Junk or Jackpot?
I can't wait. I can't wait. Give them to me.
Then have to be watching December 26th on HGTV. Bobby Berk, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Trevor. Have a great day.